Okay, to continue Christmas month, we're going to be going on to Xbox Live and taking a look at some Christmas independent games and see how they are. Christmas is not exactly a popular genre in the world of video games. It's one of the more underutilized ones. There aren't many mainstream games released in this genre, but there sure are a lot of indie games. I got to play 5 games over the past week. Well, 4, and that's going to lead into our first game, Cassie's Christmas Magic. If this game wasn't 80 points to buy, I wouldn't have even bothered. It shouldn't even be labeled a game. If it had been labeled as a show or a blog, that would be fine, but it's under indie games. All you do is listen to some girl talk about her life. By the time I started the game, she had come out with episode 3, which means there are some people actually listening to her. Scroll down the menu, you get a list of what looks like better games from this particular developer. Not really much else to say about it. Again, it should be labeled a blog because it's not a game. Next, we have Christmas Carnage. Sounds simple enough, just shoot stuff. There are 21 levels and you play as a fairy. Each level has you fight different things. The first level is a snowman, second level is trees, and the third level is bells. I would tell you more, but to be honest, that's about as far as I got. It's actually really hard, however, it's repetitive as hell. Just keep shooting and shooting and shooting. You use the right analog stick to shoot. At first I thought the shooting was broken in this game because I kept pressing down on the stick, but you actually have to move it around to actually shoot, and you use the left analog stick to fly around and aim. Throughout the levels you see various bubbles start popping up with certain features in them. I honestly only know a couple. I know one is an extra boost of health. Well, I'm assuming because it's a plus sign. The next one I know is rapid fire. You gain these features when you touch the bubbles, however if you get hit by your enemy, you lose them immediately. When you get hit, you go into what's called the invincible stage. Anyone familiar with NES games knows this one. When you get hit, your character starts to blink, which means nothing can hit you while you're doing that. However, you also can't touch the bubbles when you get hit either, which sucks. Another problem is that there's no health meter in this game. I've tried to figure out whether there's something to tell you whether you're close to dying or not, but there isn't. What's really annoying about this game is this lady who speaks when you get hit or collect the bubble. It's amusing at first, but it gets stupid after a while. So overall, Christmas Carnage is fun at first, but it gets a little repetitive after a while. Next is Santa's Christmas Dash. Again, simple gameplay. You play the character of Santa, who is dangling on strings of Christmas lights, and you're going from house to house to house delivering presents. In order to get him across these strings of Christmas lights, you have to keep hitting the correct action button when it pops up on your screen. Sounds simple, and it starts off simple, but the farther you go, the faster the buttons appear. At first my initial thought was the game just picked random buttons, but little did I know it was based on what color the lights were. For those who don't own Xbox 360s and are unfamiliar with its controller, the 360 has your traditional 4 action buttons, and each are different colors. X is blue, Y is yellow, B is red, and A is green. In the game, the Christmas lights change colors, and when they turn a certain color, that's the button you have to hit. Naturally, as you go farther, the lights start changing faster and faster to where it's almost impossible to keep up. One moment the lights will be red and the screen will show the B button, and right as you hit the B button the light will turn another color and you'll have to hit another button, but you're too late and you hit the wrong button. Hit enough wrong buttons and Santa goes falling to the ground head first. Overall, it's actually really fun. Again, it's repetitive, but it's a good repetitive, and it also helps that the music is awesome. Next is The Flight Before Christmas. Same concept as Dash, just a lot of button pressing. This time you're in Santa's sleigh and you're delivering gifts and you're dropping the gifts into chimneys. Each chimney is labeled with a button sign and you have to hit the correct button. Also like Dash is the fact that this is very timing based, but this one is actually more so in a lot of ways because Santa's sleigh never stops, so you have to time everything perfectly in order for the gifts to actually make it into the chimney, or else you completely miss. Another strike against you is delivering the wrong gift. It counts against you if the chimney is labeled X, but you accidentally hit Y. I did this several times throughout the game. There are 3 stages of difficulty, but you just can't choose one. You have to start off with easy. You have to get at least 15,000 points in order to unlock medium difficulty, but I never made it that far. The game is really hard. Getting your timing down is tough, and you'll find yourself missing a lot. If that is this game's version of easy, I'm glad I haven't unlocked medium yet. So overall, it's once again addicting, but it's not as good as Dash. The last game we'll look at today is Elf Squad. This one was my absolute favorite from the lineup. The first thing that caught my eye was the graphics. While none of the other games on this list were visual masterpieces, L-Squad caught my eye because it looks like an old NES game, and even the music calls back to the NES. The game comes with a story. You play as an elf who is trying to save Christmas. In order to do that, you have to wrap a lot of gifts. The way the game does this is that it puts you in a variety of levels with gifts falling from the sky. You have a gun to shoot straight up at the gifts, which wraps them. However, you can't just wrap them, you have to catch them after wrapping them. Each level has a time limit, but you can extend that time. Every now and then a clock will appear, and it's your job to get that clock to keep the time going. Each level gives you a different number of Christmas presents that you have to wrap before time expires. I played until level 4 and the number there was 35. There are enemies that also fall into the levels as well. You have to kill them immediately after they drop because if you get hit by them, you lose a gift. I don't know what happens if you have no gifts and they hit you. I never reached that point, but I assume that your character dies. There aren't just enemies in these levels. As you progress, the levels become more and more cluttered with stuff, and this stuff does get in your way and slows you down. There are also coins in the levels. You collect these to buy perks from a shop that you go to at the end of each level. So overall, I actually really like this game. It's one of the independent games that I recommend. If you love the NES, you'll love this. So that's a few of the indie Christmas games on Xbox Live. Most are bad, but there are actually a couple that are really addicting and fun to play. Well everyone, that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.